Is this RT? It's a scat pack. I don't know what angle does. Nope. It's either you see the mic or you don't. Goodness. 5 people. Bro, why? Say my connection is ass, bro. I'm about to have the biggest heart, bro. Okay. Jacob's there. If y'all can't hear me, whatever. It's all right. We're about to get into this intro. Don't worry about it. All right. What was the intro? Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm a bit of a mess. I'm here a little bit late. Goodness. All right. Jesus. Damn seeing. All right, guys. My bad. My fault. All right. Now I remember the intro. I wrote it. Okay. Whew. Oh my goodness. I'm nervous. All right, here we go. In this life, chaos is consistent. Sometimes it's our environment, the things that we do, and other times it's brought to our doorstep. Welcome to another installment of Jammore Interviews, and as always, I am your host, Josh, aka Jammore. My guest today takes on the iconic role of the Chaos Bringer and Thriver himself, Havik, in the new installment of the Mortal Kombat franchise, Mortal Kombat 1. In addition to voicing Robbie in Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, Falco Lombarda in Star Fox Zero, The Battle Begins, Roth and Garter in Fire Emblem Heroes, Borjoy Behemoth and Dragon Quest, Your Story, and tons more. In addition to his talents as an actor, he is a trained audio engineer, mixing and mastering for games such as Fallout New Vegas and Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Now, please raise your hands and stand up on your digital feet as I welcome the man himself, Jacob Crainer.
Woo!
Oh, why is it not working? Oh my god!
Do you want me to take do a take two on that?
You do not have to do no.
All right, take two. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, welcome.
No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing this Saturday?
I'm doing great. It's my mother's birthday, so just
happy birthday, Mom.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Josh's mom.
Yes, she's gonna hang out with her friends all day today, so she won't be here at all. So, but just before I get into the questions and the things I want to talk to you about, I just want to say how much of a high honor it is to be speaking to you today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come speak with me. It's always a great day to be speaking to an incredible talent such as yourself. So thank you for spending your Saturday with me.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for such kind words. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, since I know you're a metalhead, you hopefully you'll know this one. But what I like to do with my guests is a quick little nice icebreaker here and there. Some pretty cool albums have some really big anniversaries that came up this year.
Yeah.
So this one, System of a Down's Toxicity, turned 22 years old. It was released in 2000. Dude, am I gonna do this live? No, I don't like doing that.
The toxicity of our city.
Yes, this is a huge album. They're the biggest album. It released. When did it release? It released recently. But do you have any special memories with that band? Any special memories with that album? Anything that comes to mind when I talk about the band?
Wow. Yeah. Well, let's see. System of a Down, definitely like Disturbed, even some like earlier Linkin Park were all my they were all my metal gateways, so to speak.
Linkin Park, not too much.
Yeah. Until I, became a teenager and became more of a metal elitist. And then since I've calmed down from that, I like all types of music, but, yeah, I remember getting Toxicity at a place called it was
both like forgetting things today. Don't worry about it.
It was like a big CD store in one of the larger towns down the road from the small town that I grew up in, and I was out for my friends birthday, we went and played laser tag, and then we went to this big. It was like a Sam Goody type store. You know, they have like cheap electric guitars. You have back in the day VHSs and DVDs, and then you have the big CD section. And we picked up Toxicity, and then also As the Palaces Burn by Lamb of God, and Ashes of the Wake by Lamb of God. And we were like, we were like 13 or something, and we just picked them up. They probably had like a 2-for-1 or like some deal and stuff. And we're like, this music it's terrifying, but I can't stop listening to it. What's going on here? And then it was it all just escalated from there. And then I got really into Lamb of God was my ride or die for a long time. Between the Buried Me, I got really into in high school. And yeah.
Great albums, man. Are you?
And now I love breakdowns. I want that groove. I want that drop, baby.
I definitely agree. Are you an Avenged Sevenfold fan by any chance?
Not as much.
Anger.
Yeah, is that a good one?
I love them so much. Yeah. They're hold on.
I definitely have them in my Spotify now. Like in my teenage years, I became like a huge elitist, and only certain bands can make the muster of my elevated metal tastes.
Bro turned into the entire metal scene. So because like these big bands still get hate, like System of a Down, like
I know
the whole new metal era gets so much hate, and I hate
this. Is one of those days. I love Limp Bizkit now.
I'm not good. No,
hilarious.
I'm not going to lie, because I tweeted that out like a few days ago. I was like, whether you like Limp Bizkit or not, their impact on 2000s culture is insane.
Yeah,
it is insane, and you cannot take that away from them. Like, there's so many cultural things that they started, or so many songs that like are a part of the culture that they started. That like you can't like, and I get it. The Nookie is whatever.
Yeah.
But you have to give them their credit. It's like this whole thing with
they all have their place,
absolutely.
And I'm a huge nostalgia fiend for like my 90s and my 2000s. So
yeah, like people. There's a new what's it called? There's a new documentary coming out on Nickelback and their whole 2000s fame era and what it's like to be, because everyone hates Nickelback. Like it's like a thing, but it's like I don't know. Like I saw a video for the most recent concert where it's like everyone like knew the words, hard, and we're singing "Never Made It As It Was, Man." You know what I'm saying? Like you know that song. Like stop playing, and it's like okay, like you can hate the music, but you can't deny the impact. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Even if that song comes on and you're like, ugh, you still know it, and you know more of it than you're willing to admit, for sure.
Like literally, like So, oh my gosh,
it's just like speaking of nostalgia, it's like things like Ludacris and Missy Elliott. I love them so much because that's what I remember the first time I heard "Roll Out" by Ludacris, and you're young and you're like, I shouldn't be listening to this, but I'm gonna.
It's like naked cook. Mortal Kombat. It's like me with Mortal Kombat, sneaking in, playing Call of Duty and all these video games when I was supposed to.
It's like my parents saw all of like the dismemberment and just gore that I'm ingesting right now. They'd send me off to a special boarding school or something.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
the troubled children.
I remember when my mom, back in the day, she's big into horror movies. I'm not, but she's so big into like slasher, like Halloween and stuff like that. I remember terrified me. I walked in on her watching, I think it was the 4th Halloween movie. I just remember being so terrified by like Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger. Literally gave me nightmares. You know what I'm saying? It's like we grew up with so much of this stuff and like just passing by it, and it's like I wonder how that's affected us. But
certainly affected me.
I mean,
explains a lot about me.
Me too, brother. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. But speaking of the past, let's get into your origin story, man. We're all nerds here. We
Oh
love a good
yeah.
origin story.
Oh
So
yeah.
my first question to you is, now with the knowledge and wisdom that you have now, how would you
Mm.
say your childhood has helped shape your future as an artist and what you're doing today?
Mm. Oh man, absolutely. Well, my parents did me a solid by putting me into piano lessons when I haven't played piano in a bit, but I should have kept on it because piano's awesome.
Same
But
way, like I wish I would have stuck with my guitar. Oh my god, I'm
yeah,
so mad that but yeah.
yeah, but yeah, my parents put me into piano lessons when I was like very young. I did that up until I moved out until 18, and that bloomed into an affinity for me, like being in like school plays and all that jazz. I was big into theatrics when I was a young lad. Um, and then I did some theater in high school. Uh, so yeah, I really got to give it up to my parents for, you know, kind of casting the line out there and seeing what kind of things I'd be interested in, and because I was a Boy Scout too for a spell. I made it to Weebelo. That didn't really stick, even though I still have my Pinewood Derby car and all that jazz. But yeah, I'm just really thankful that they took the time to invest in me and say, like, let's see what this kid is interested in. Let's go put him in some stuff and see where he lands. And they were never really forceful about, like, you need to stay on this hobby, you need to stay on this discipline or not. So yeah, my dad, I grew up listening to my dad play and sing Billy Joel on the piano. My mom is a monster artist. Now she has a very successful Etsy business, Red Cottage Designs. Look it up on Instagram, and if you want a beautiful painted bird feeder for your lawn for the hummingbirds. And my sister too. She's she's a monster illustrator and writer. She writes books, and
Whole
so
family of
I just
talent
grew up
going on
in
here, man.
yeah. So I just grew up in a very artistic household, so to speak. And we all encouraged that and fostered that, and that fueled my nerddom of when I found Lord of the Rings or StarCraft or in any video game franchise or movie franchise that I was interested in, just being super invested and being like, whoa, these worlds, I need to know more. And I still do that today when I finally read Dune, and I took a deep dive into Dune.
Oh.
And I know they're two completely different things, but now that I've immersed myself in Dune, just like Star Wars doesn't hit the same as it used to.
Anyways, I'm not trying to hear that.
I love
Listen,
Andor.
No, stop. No, no more. No, because my friend literally.
You're
Oh
gonna
my
disconnect with me in like 30 seconds.
Oh no, it's like it's my friend is such a huge Andor fan. Like he enjoys the hell out of that show, and it's crazy. I have such a whole thing about the Star Wars thing right now. Have you been watching Ahsoka?
No, but I love that character. I remember her from Clone Wars. I watched her all throughout Clone Wars.
Oh my god,
yes. I forget who voices her.
Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah.
And it's such a. I love Star Wars so much, but
such
like
a badass character.
Oh yeah, a lot of.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Star Wars, but yeah.
Not too much. Not too much.
And also, I'm not going to try and compare Dune to Star Wars, even though Arrakis and Tatooine, they're just similar, is all. I'm not saying that anyone stole anything from anyone or, it's but
everything influences one another,
yeah, exactly.
It happens. It's what I'm saying. It's whatever. People get so in a bunch. They're like, oh, let's took from this. Oh, let's took from that. It's like, dude, everything inspires one another. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's not the exact same, we can see the similarities and differences in each other.
Absolutely.
And it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And I'll I'll say by and large, not all the time, but most of the time, Star Wars is a lot more digestible than Dune. Sometimes Dune can be like pretty abstract, especially in like Dune Messiah takes some really weird turns. And I guess they're going to include that in the trilogy, the movie trilogy. The
that's
the
crazy.
next
I
book,
heard about
Dune
that.
Messiah, is going to be
Yeah.
a movie in there, or maybe it's just 2 movies. I forget, or 3. I don't know, but it's going to be in there. So I'm very
Yeah,
interested to see that adaptation.
yeah, Dune is about to be this huge thing. The first movie was successful. Second one, unfortunately, got delayed because of the strike, and they don't want to pay their artists what they deserve. But hey, it's what
Yeah,
it is. But
and
we're gonna get into that, of course.
yeah,
Can't not discuss that. But, to go back to you talking about your childhood and stuff, I relate to you a lot in that regard. We have to give a shout out to our support system growing up. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I wouldn't be as creative and as innovative if I didn't have my parents, being there for me and supporting all my weird wackiness. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah, being
I,
like, hell yeah, just go be you.
you know what I'm saying?
That
Like
berserk crank, go do it.
I did musicals growing up. I did tap dancing. Like
Oh, awesome.
I was all, yeah, man. I was all into that. And my mom would always come to my rehearsals. She would see me playing band. And it's just so amazing to have that support system growing up. I would do. I'm a huge Transformers fan, massive Transformers fan. I would do the Optimus Prime voice after I saw the first movie, and my mom would just cheer me on doing the worst Optimus Prime impression you've ever heard in your life. But,
Well, yeah, my voice can't get that low, so
Peter Cullen is a god. Like,
yeah.
let's not like he
I
made
could do a
Optimus.
prepubescent Optimus Prime, maybe.
You could do Orion Pax. You could do
There
Orion
we go.
Pax. Awesome, man. Well, another thing I was looking while I was researching you, I found out that you're also a audio engineer and audio tech, and you do a lot of mixing and stuff like that. Briefly describe that for the audience who might not know what that is.
Yeah. Well, I started. I went to right out of high school. I went to a school called CRAS, the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences in Phoenix,
Fancy.
Arizona. Yeah, and then we had to go look for an internship afterwards. And I'm a West Coast baby, so the 2 biggest markets, New York and LA. I'm like, I guess I'll go to LA, see what that's about. And I was 19, and I got into a studio and immediately started doing. First big project was Fallout New Vegas, and that was actually I was doing dialogue editing, and a lot of my the technical video game work that I've done is mostly dialogue editing, but the other stuff, just to like clarify on the intro, and the other stuff is like assistant engineering, like assistant assistant stuff, but it's still a credit, and I was in the credits, so I'm gonna put up that credit. But but yeah, we had to edit like thousands and thousands of lines for Fallout New Vegas. I went off on a tangent. So
I know you go. We love those here. We love those here.
So audio engineering. I started out recording, having the actor in a booth, and the studio that I was recording at is called Soundworks in Burbank. They were recording a lot of primetime animation. They recorded parts of Fallout New Vegas, parts of the Dishonored Borderlands franchise. I think Borderlands 2 or 3, maybe 2. I was recorded there. So a lot of video games, a lot of like How to Train Your Dragon, DreamWorks, and the subsequent cartoons, Three Below, and the others, Troll Hunters, were recorded there. And I was doing recording, but I was also doing mixing. And so what I actually mix for is I do what's called short form mixing. So like anytime you see a Neutrogena commercial, every time you see a promo for NCIS, like coming up this Sunday at 7:30, the NCIS Shooty Investigating Marathon, I would mix the audio for those networks, and just like little 30-second, 60-second commercials. And I still do some of that today as contract work. if I need to. But you know, I want to be. This is what I really want to be doing. You know, but but you got to pay the bills, and you know, flex your skills when you got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
I just made that up right now. But
it sticks. It'll stick. Don't worry.
so that's mainly the mixing that I do, and I have mixed anime before, some anime series, but my expertise is really in like mini documentary and you know, like commercial promo, that kind of short form mixing. So yeah, I started doing that, and I eventually stopped doing as much recording because it's just too stressful for me. I don't have the I was too tender of a morsel to be in those types of situations. Man, shout out to, it gives me such an appreciation having, I know the struggle of an engineer, all you audio engineers out there. I get it. It's and I don't want to demonize anyone who works with engineers, because you know, producers and production people are always awesome, but just inherently as a position, there's a lot put on you, because you know, if the director's working to get the actor in his space and deliver this awesome performance, if that recording is going to be messed up when it gets into Pro Tools or whatever you're recording in, then you know, you just ruin the whole thing. So there's an immense amount of pressure just inherently by the nature of the job in that in the position is, especially a recording engineer. And you know, some mixing engineers that are mixing high level commercials for, you know, like Toyota and Nissan, where the clients from the ad agency, they actually sit in the mix with you, and like executives will do notes live from wherever that and pipe it down to the producers, and maybe you have the voice talent there too, so you're like, we need to pick up on this line, you know, the exec says say it more like this, and the exec says that the idle sound of the Nissan Altima doesn't sound quite right, find a different sound effect for the Nissan Altima. There's just a lot of
nuances, little things.
Oh yeah, and a lot of pressure. So fortunately, I kept up with my mixing chops, and I'm a lot more comfortable in that situation, even though, you know, the deadlines and the pressure is still real. But you know, with knowledge and education and familiarity comes the reduction in nerves and anxiety, and that's one of my best ways to quell anxiety on any front. If I'm worried about something unknown or something like that, then, you know, try your best to understand it. Try your best to know. Your best to gain the knowledge. And then if you can't, then you have to try your best to be okay with not knowing. So that got meta.
Nah, no. I mean, this is what my conversations tend to lead to. You know, I mean, like,
oh, good.
Working as an artist.
What do you think our purpose is on this world, Joshua? What is the meaning of life?
Yo, I'll be watching videos.
I'm just kidding.
No. It's no, but it is interesting because audio is such an important part of any production. And
oh yeah.
Inherently, when you're in that position of someone who has to deal with audio, a lot falls on you. Like a ton of stuff, like just falls on your back, and you have to know what you're doing because audio is so important. Like some of my favorite things and nuances when looking back on projects either I do or people have done, like I tend to do when looking at research and stuff, is looking how sound fits. Like I just love that. Like in Star Wars, when Jango Fett is about to fly off and he drops the bomb from the back of the ship, the seismic charger thing, when that thing goes, yes. Yo, I will always get goosebumps, and that is due to how well it was done, how well everyone in the audio department did to make that sound come to life.
Oh,
it's extremely important, and it's beautiful. Have such a huge respect for you and you guys who do that line of work. Seriously, it's a lot.
Man, and that is going back to Star Wars. That is some of my favorite, and maybe that's some of my education given me the ear for it or whatever. But whatever, you don't need an ear for it to appreciate it. But yeah, the sound design is like some of my favorite parts of, like, even if you don't see a visual at all, who knows exactly what the sound of a TIE fighter is, even if they just hear that sound, you know?
Right. It's incredible.
Yeah.
How would you say having that background and knowledge as an audio engineer has helped you in your venture as a voice actor understand the nuances that it takes to get a really good performance?
Sure. It's on the surface level, it's just one less thing to worry about, so I can focus more on the performance and the character. But yeah, going off of that, it's allowed me to pursue, because here's the deal. Coming from an engineering background, I felt it's kind of a pitfall, and it's flattering, but it's a pitfall when someone's like, "Hey, you have a great voice. You should do voiceover." But then I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it," and then I get into it. I'm like, "Oh shit, I need to learn how to act again." Because the thing is like, whether you're on screen, voice actor, an actor is an actor is an actor. You need to be an actor first before you decide whether you're going to be channeling that
And I'm
into a
sorry, I don't mean to
microphone
cut you
or a.
off here,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah, no problem.
I just get frustrated when I was at work the other day and someone is like, oh, so you're a voice actor, do an impression. I had to explain to them I'm not an impressionist. I'm a voice actor. You know what I'm saying?
That
Like I
is a
feel like
very
a lot of
specific discipline.
yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people tend to get confused. Like, oh, if you do an impression, you're a good voice actor. If you can, no, that's not how that works. And I'm not saying inherently that impressionists are like not good voice actors. Saying that, far from what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that
yeah,
voice acting is a particular skill and craft that needs to be honed, respected, and appreciated, because it is
no,
acting. Like you're saying, it's acting. It's not just us doing these silly deep voices. It's us embodying these characters fully,
sure,
getting the nuances of the character. You know, I said, I was just talking to my friend about this. I was like, voice acting is like an acoustic performance when it comes
mm-hmm.
to music. With voice acting, you everything relies on your voice. On camera, you have the camera there, you have a prop here, you have something you could grab here, you have a makeup department, you have so many things you could go to. But when it comes to us as voice actors, we have to embody that anger, that rage, that little, oh, I'm a little ticked off today. You know what I'm saying? Everyone is going to hear that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? In our performance. And that's why a lot of the times I can tell when a voice acting performance is a bit off, because it is an acoustic performance. I can hear those little nuances when a voice
sure,
actor is really in their stride and really hitting it, because
yeah,
it's a craft. You know what I'm saying? Like I've
yeah,
studied
yeah,
this
yeah,
for about 3 years now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something that needs to be, you know. I'm sorry to
sure.
take you away from that,
No,
but you
no,
know,
no,
I was
no.
just saying.
That was all very germane and well said. Um, but yeah, for me, like voice acting, th- like is not. One sec.
Now go ahead, take your time, man.
Is very much the same in the ways. The only difference, which no big caveat, it's not the only difference, obviously, but in between like being acting for a movie, uh, like where somewhere where you're actually on a physical stage is, one of the key differences is like you're just in front of a microphone. That's the only, you still need to, have all your faculties like you are on a stage. Where are you physically? Are you putting your hand on someone's shoulder? Are you, pouring yourself a cup of coffee while you're saying this? The audience is very much there, even if it's just you it's very much just like you're on a stage acting for uh, in front of a live studio audience, in the fact that you really need to put yourself in that scene and immerse yourself like that. And acting to me personally is very much a study in human behavior and the human condition, wherein is you really need to know yourself and like take a good deep dive into all of your good and bad attributes about your personality. Because at the end of the day, what makes a character believable for me is that it's my personal anger coming through that character's anger, right? That character sounds angry because I'm actually pissed off when I'm saying, I'm thinking about, the time I stubbed my toe really bad, or the time so and so, got the solo in choir and I didn't get that. That anger is coming through and translating as real anger for me, but in the context of the character.
It's a beautiful alchemic thing, a beautiful
Yeah.
alchemic reaction that we both do as performers. It's an incredible thing, and I have such a huge respect for everyone who I've spoken to who takes part in this industry, because it is a very much a study of ourselves and embodying our characters.
Sure.
For example,
yeah.
I could say this. For my friend stop motion project, I'm taking on the role of Megatron. And that role is very demanding, both vocally and both emotionally, because of where I have to put my mindset to give this character, because the series is a very deep look into these characters, and I have to put myself in a place where I have to understand why Megatron is so angry, and I have to understand myself to understand, okay, so this is what I put into Megatron to make it more authentic, so y'all genuinely do get that he's angry as hell, like why I'm grunting, or like there's this trick I do when I say words in the script. I'll underline like extreme words like good or bad or vowels, and I'll like put extra emphasis on it you know what I'm saying? It's just like stuff like that. It's like, bro, like I just love that I get to do. I love voice acting. I love this. I love it so much, and it pisses me off when people don't want to respect this industry as much as it needs to be. That's a whole another rant for another day, but I love voice actors. Let's get into some of this cool resume you got, man.
Awesome.
Before we get to the main event, I want to talk quickly about your time with Nintendo, and you've done a couple Nintendo roles there. Of course, Falcon Lombarda in Star Fox Zero: The Battle Begins, and then Robbie in Hyrule Warriors. That is Nintendo, right?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure, because when I was looking, I was like, I don't know what this is. But cool. Just want to make sure. What does Nintendo mean to you? And having been an actor in a couple of Nintendo projects, how does that meaning of what Nintendo means to you changed or evolved, or has it stayed the same?
Oh, man. It just reminds me of being in video game club in high school and just constantly getting my ass handed to me in Super Smash Brothers.
Yo!
And I would always intentionally, for some reason, or like Ness would always get hated on, so I'd always pick Ness and just spam like PK Fire, because people be like, knock it off. I'm like, because I know I was gonna lose anyway.
Right.
I had an Xbox. I didn't have didn't have a Nintendo.
What system do you like the most?
Oh, my PC. I'm a PC enthusiast, so it's pretty much like it's the main news source that I actually keep up on, because it's a source of news that doesn't depress and terrify me. So I'm always, like, what generation of graphics cards come out? What problems have they found in these chips and all that jazz? I built a new computer last year, and my last one I had for like 10 years. So
what the fuck?
And I was still playing like Stellaris and let's see, what else was I still playing on there? I was playing like Red Dead Redemption 2 on there, and I was like, it's time for a new one. And fortunately, the timing was right financially, so I got to build myself a new dream machine. And the last time I built a computer, like RGB and like flashy little lights weren't a thing, so I kind of went crazy on that at first, but I've since dialed it back. But I still like my flashy blinky lights in my case.
Shout out to
huge PC nerd.
all of my friends are PC nerds. Like I'll
Oh
talk to
yeah.
my friends and I'll be like, "Oh man, like, dude, are you gonna get the new Spider-Man game?" They say it's not on PC. So I was like, "No." They'll be
No.
like, "Oh yeah, I have PC. I'm gonna just da 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 da." I'm like, "Okay, guy, whatever, cool. Go ahead,
Just
go
gotta
ahead."
undervolt the CPU and then
Yeah,
another 20 all core undervolt on the CPU and
they're so into it. I love them so much because whenever we talk about it, we just talk about computers and junk.
oh,
It
oh
makes
yeah.
me want to get one, but like
Yeah.
I'm not that technologically savvy. I'm not
Oh, for
trying.
sure.
I,
Well, fortunately, there's been a lot of tech people and reviewers. Jay's 2 cents is a really good one. Gamers Nexus is a good one. Hardware Unboxed is a fantastic one also.
you're
But a lot of
intellectual,
them
man. Okay.
but a lot of them have just like really broken down. You can watch in one video how to build a PC, and they'll go through everything, cut out all the fluff, and explain it in very layman's terms. And that they want to for people who might be intimidated and be like, man, I want a PC, but boof, that world is just like it's like another language to me. And but they make it super digestible and super easy. And you get to learn something new. And hopefully you have fun learning it. Cause I certainly forgot I had to get re-update my knowledge because a lot changed in the last 10 years since I built a computer. But I was stoked with all the shit I was learning about, like, oh man, and now hard drives like this big, an M.2. I don't have to deal with a slow ass disk, a spinning disk, and
Oh man, my friends
and
are gonna
there's
love this one.
yeah, and there's lots of here's the thing too is like manufacturers, a lot of them code safety nets into their into just like the protocols of their hardware, like your motherboard, your RAM, your GPU. So I think technically there are places where you can turn off those kind of safety nets, but by and large, if you're like overclocking or you know they make it very hard to light your tower on fire. They thought of these things to protect people, and in as much as they have, a lot of them have stout warranty, and there's some companies that don't have a great warranty service, but they don't want you to have to exercise the warranty if they don't have to. So they rather program these things into the hardware to make sure if you go crazy trying to get that massive overclock and precision boost overdrive that you're not gonna
Right.
light your house on fire or blow up your wall socket. So
Oh God. Well, man, what does the role of Robbie mean to you? And what did that role, because we were speaking about this earlier.
oh yeah, I forgot that we were even talking about roles. You get me going on computers, man.
I can tell, man. It's all good. But yeah. So to go back to that, what does
Yes.
the role of Robbie mean to you, and what did that
Oh,
role allow
man.
you to explore in yourself?
It allowed me to explore. When I was in high school, when Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny came out, I acquired it through the internet, and I watched it like every night for months, and I memorized it, and I would just sing along with it, and me and my friends, we'd all just like sing the Pick of Destiny to each other. And so when it got to Robbie, and when we landed on that voice for him, I basically channeled everything I ever wanted to embody Jack Black about into him. Just that spontaneity and that goofy and like being super serious and then like, wow, just being like off the wall, going from one extreme to another. But the cool thing about that role is when I initially auditioned for it, I didn't audition with that voice, the voice he has in the game. It was actually more of from what the audition spec said, it was a more of what you expect out of a nerdy scientist type. Interesting. And then I had a call back and he's the same nerdy scientist. And then we actually got into the session, and we were doing it all to video, all the cutscenes, because it's all in Japanese. And then all the sound effects and stuff there, and there's like the guitar, all these music stings and stuff. He's striking all these poses and stuff. So I did one with the voice that I had going for a little while, and then the director and good friend Chris Fiala was like, but what if it was like more rock and roll? Like, we need to make him more rock and roll. Like, there's all this like guitar shit and stuff going on, and like, let's just see what happens. And I was like, okay. And just on the very next take, conjured that up in a anxiety-inducing amount of time, a very short span of time, and everyone was like, yeah, we're going with that. We're like, great. But that's part of the voice acting discipline, is being willing also to search for the voice in the session, and being able to being open and willing to just explore, not care about if it sounds like, oh, well, that voice actually sounds like crap, like, who cares? We're all just exploring. We're all seeing what it sounds like. Just like, go for it.
Absolutely, man.
And you never know what you gotta get.
And taking that leap of faith, man. Well, now we could get into it. Main event, Mortal Kombat. Ooh, phone about to fall off the thing. Yeah. Mortal Kombat. I'm so excited for this game. And
me too, man. I haven't played Mortal Kombat in so long.
Oh my goodness. I wish you could have seen my face when I saw Havoc. I was freaking the hell out because I remember playing as Havoc with Mortal Kombat Deception and this is the first
helmet.
Yes, with the sick, bro. That's the one thing I do miss with this design is the helmet. Yeah. I really
maybe. I mean, I don't know.
There's a ton. They're probably gonna do a skin or something. You know what I'm saying? They have a bunch of customization options that we're gonna see, but it's this is the first time we're getting Havoc in a video game in like 17 years. Like, it's been an insane amount of time since we've seen him. What did the audition process for Havoc consist of? Do you remember?
Yeah. That one, I don't think I had a callback for that one. They just booked me off the audition, but I remember the audition sides, and this is this I see is and it's a cool tactic, but a lot of times they'll sorry.
Words.
It's not like I do this for a living, but they'll audition with dialogue that isn't even in the game. It's just maybe it embodies the emotion that they want to. So the dialogue that I auditioned with had nothing to do with Mortal Kombat. Yeah, it was just like, we want someone, like bitter and angry, and explore the depths of that, explore the layers of because, well, no, as all emotions, anger is an extremely complex one and has all sorts of levels to it. And I booked it, and I remember asking Dominic, the guy who directed me in session, be like, oh yeah, how'd you find me? Just out of like curiosity. He's like, no, heard your audition, and you just sounded like you grasped the emotional context of it all. I was like, cool. And that's been like 3 years in the making. I've been even was that, I think, I can't remember if I did my first session like slightly pre-pandemic or during or whatnot, but no, yeah, I think it was I think it was the winter before the pandemic. First one at Green Street Studios. Shout out to Rob King. He's the man. And then some of them were at Warner Brothers also.
That is sick.
Yeah. You know how stoked I was to see that water tower?
Gonna have
I
Rob
have
Paulson come out
my
of the water tower and
hey, what's up, guys? Let me rattle off all the states for you. I forget how he sounds like. We used to record Paul all the time when I was working in the studio. That's one awesome part about I got what got me into voice acting was the studio that we mentioned earlier that I worked at, recording that primetime animation. I've been fortunate enough to meet like just so many heavy hitters. It's insane.
I'm jealous because I watched the interview and you said you have a picture with Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers in your phone. I'm
Yeah,
very jealous. And
that
I
was
need to
for a
see that
show
picture.
called Sheriff Callie's Wild West. So like one of the execs was a big music one of the main producers or whatever was a big music head on there. So, and a lot of times every episode, if the show's set up like that, there's a guest star. And so she just had we recorded Iggy Pop. He was from Florida though, so we didn't get to meet him, but I met Henry Rollins. That was dope. And yeah, Flea was a big one. And then I actually, who was the Dwight Yoakam? He was supposed to play a character called Jethro Beaver. But then he got sick or they messed up his contract. So that actually ended up being my Taft-Hartley, my way into the union. That ended up like being one of my formative VO sessions because they knew I was interested in VO. And so they put me in like a Disney Junior cartoon. It was like and then I haven't done union animation since. Well, no, Dragon Quest, and the anime stuff that's union. That's I've not done that since. But as far as like, oh yeah, and I've done Barbie cartoon, but yeah, as far as like Nickelodeon, Disney Junior and stuff, still cracking that nut. This stuff takes a long time.
I mean, I would imagine,
and you gotta love the process.
When you have people like Steve,
you gotta be okay
Bloom
with the process at a minimum.
Oh yes, that's I definitely come to understand that when you have people like Rob Paulson, Steve Bloom, Nolan North, Fred Tatasciore, when you have these heavy hitters, it's gonna be.
Speaking of which, I've met all those dudes. I recorded all those dudes like plenty.
I've only met them
very fortunate
by interviewing them, but I guess the same way. It's a blessing for sure, and to hear all their stories and
they're all wonderful gentlemen. So
yes, that's one thing I love about the VA industry is just to see the kind natureness of it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But to go back to Havoc, because I was very curious about this. Havoc, I've found this out. Havoc did have a voice before, and it was played by the great Paul St. Peter.
Yeah, I found that out too.
Okay, so my question is, what are some inspirations that you used to create Havoc's voice? Did the voice change when you got it, or did you look back at his performance? How did all that go to craft Havoc?
I didn't actually discover that fact until after the fact. Actually, until about like this summer, because I was like doing more of my versing myself in my homework because I've been out of the Mortal Kombat sphere for a wee bit. But once I started getting this project, I started getting back into it again. But oh man, inspiration for Havoc. He's just a good outlet for. It's a good way to vent and process anger and frustration. Like I'm like, which is kind of a. I wish those sessions were still going on because it was very therapeutic. But also, my voice tends to be more of a mid in tenor. So I end up doing and getting auditioning for a lot of roles that are, and a lot of young adults. So when I get to do something that's more like gravelly and like I'm just like super stoked on that. See how low this little voice can go. But yeah. So he was just a really good outlet to vent all of my just anger. It was
I would
awesome.
imagine. I would imagine that character is insane, and
Yeah.
that the
Oh
Fatal
yeah.
Blow or X play is crazy. Like I mentioned, this is the first time we're seeing Havoc in such a long time. When you found out you booked the role and who the character was there any added pressure on finding out who the character was or anything like that?
No, honestly, I was just elated beyond belief. Because I grew up, I remember my earliest, still my first experience with it was Mortal Kombat 2. And it was, I would go up in the loft of my parents' house, Thanksgiving dinner, and watch my big cousins play. Not that like I wasn't allowed to play or whatever. It's just they were big cousins and they were gonna play and I was gonna watch. But I was stoked on, it's like when you're a kid, one of the like watching when your friends play a video game is just as fun as playing it yourself. God, I miss that. That rules so hard. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. But yeah, so I was watching them play Mortal Kombat 2, and I specifically remember seeing I really liked Cyrax because he reminds me of Predator. I I watched Predator with my parents when I was 6.
Oh,
And I couldn't, so
yo.
much so that I couldn't say Predator right. I called it the Creditor, which is kind of hilarious because aren't they predatorial in their own special way? But yeah, Cyrax was always big for me. Scorpion and Reptile. Yeah, I remember seeing Scorpion's finishing move, the get over here, and I was like, what? Who
So
is it?
isn't it ironic that your
Yeah.
character debuted with a Reptiles trailer?
Yeah. Yeah. First they must see me. I forget who voiced that, but that guy rules. He did such an awesome job.
Andrew Morgana, a good friend of mine.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
He was in
He did a fantastic job.
he did a great job. He was also the collector in Mortal Kombat 11. I know you haven't played Mortal Kombat in a while, but he played this like four-armed kind of Goro character that had like had knives and was cutting people up.
That reminded me. That's what I was gonna say. I remember seeing in Mortal Kombat 2, I remember seeing like Goro, and he just scared the shit out of me. He just terrified me.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, I got like freaked out when you got to the, you get further on in that quest line and you have to battle him. And yeah, the psychological battle in itself was just too much for my young, feeble mind.
Oh my gosh. Good stuff, man. How would you describe this version of Havoc to someone? Because like I said, it's been a while. Of course, there's obviously going to be some changes. How would you describe him to people who are new to this character?
So he's a very complex man. He's a conflicted man. Because he comes from Saito, right? He comes from a very low caste. So he's been oppressed. He's lived with oppression all his life. So at the core of it, he wants to set his people free. The problem is the vehicle in which he wants to set that in motion, which is by all means necessary, which includes genocide and just anything, mass murder, like anything for the price of and like anarchy and just so that want for freedom really evolves into straight up just a love for just chaos and anarchy and anything just antithetical to order. So it kind of, blooms. It starts with maybe a good intention and just snowballs into something that's just completely out of just sinister and evil. And yeah, he's a real piece of shit.
You said, let me cut through it all. He's a yo, I love you, man. Oh my god, he had to check his
which is, is the tough part because maybe at the beginning he started out with a noble cause, but yeah, it's just evil, like embodies, and that's that can be a thing with acting. Like going back to saying you need to embody, both good parts of your personality and bad parts of your personality. Because like it doesn't. Everyone wants to play, like Gandhi or Mother Teresa, someone who's the hero and everyone looks up to. But how are you going to relate to a genocidal maniac? That's your job as an actor. You're gonna have to find. You want to you have to find a way, man. But
I mean,
yeah,
it's so. I love how you're so into this character because like I told you, like I'm a massive Havoc fan. I really love the design of this character. I love the look. I love his playing style in the original game, and I've loved it. I also love how I'm seeing how updated Havoc's playing style is in this game. Like I was saying, his X play. I don't know what they're calling it. I think it's his fatal blow now. But when he like rips off his
that's the chaos realm right there.
When he rips
chaos realm's showing.
When he rips off his arm and hit Ashura, was of course played by the amazing Susan Eisenberg, Wonder Woman, been Wonder Woman for decades.
Yeah, she rules.
And have you gotten to meet any of the voice actors for the cast, like maybe in passing or anything at all?
Not since we started recording this, but also going back to the studio, I've recorded Kari Wahlgren a lot, and she was in the studio a lot because she's a monster, insanely talented. She's such an awesome person too. But I remember being like specifically like, oh crap, I get to share a cast list with Kari. That man, that just makes me so happy. It's so awesome.
I'm very happy for you, man. Congratulations on getting this role and embodying one of my favorite characters. I have a little bit of a bias towards you now, so you know what I'm saying? I love Havoc so much, and I'm just genuinely excited to see how this character comes to life. What are some things you could potentially tease about Havoc that we haven't seen yet? Anything cool? Anything? How big is your role? He's thinking. He's cooking. He's cooking. He's cooking.
I think I'm gonna have to stay conservative here. Havoc will ensue. Expect. I don't want to violate any contracts here, but
is there a line that we have not
needless
heard?
To say, you will be, as a fan of Havoc, you will be very pleased with how he is represented in this game. I think so. If what I remember about what I've done is any indicator, I think anyone who's a big fan of Havoc will be quite satisfied. So sorry, I'm sorry I can't get more specific, but if we really want to get it, I'd have to stop and reread my entire contract right now and decide, what would be appropriate or not. So I just have to.
We don't have time for that. I'm kidding. No, yeah, bro, I got you, man. It's a journalist in me trying to get those exclusives.
And great questions, by the way. Very great question. Did you do journalism in like college or high school or anything like that, or do you just have a knack for the curiosity of asking people? Nice, man. Natural. Great questions so far.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I make sure to do thorough amounts of research. I spend hours and hours just studying every person I speak to because that's important. You're giving me your time, so I'm going to spend the time and the hours it takes to get to know what you've done, what you've been a part of, so I can ask you questions. I watch tons of interviews. I try not to repeat questions because y'all do that all the time. Let's freshen it up. You know what I'm saying? Let's liven it up. Let's not be dead like Havoc or anything. Let's get in here and spice it up a bit. So that's what. That's what this is me. And I have a natural knack, I guess, for connecting with others.
I'd say.
A lot of people enjoy these, so I'm just blessed I get to still do them, and people still want to talk to me. So I'm
Yeah.
just glad.
When I was checking out what you do, I specifically clicked on just by random the Roger Craig Smith one, and that man rules. I want to be Roger Craig Smith when I grow up.
Have you ever watched Regular
He's
Show?
awesome.
Have you ever
Oh
watched it?
yeah, not for a while, but yeah.
Dude, he's literally in every damn episode.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, bro, what? I never, because being talking about the research and stuff, I would like go back and watch shows he starred in and games, and I was like, bro, you're this character. What the? I
Oh
don't
yeah.
remember this. I did not know this.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see
There's a lot of range.
And that's what I love about voice acting is just seeing everyone's range for these characters. With you were speaking about it earlier, but you were happy to do this character because it allowed you to go into that kind of deeper, grittier register. And I love seeing you actors explore that. I even enjoy as an actor exploring my range and stuff I can't do. I was telling you about playing Megatron in the stop motion. I was very hesitant. I was like, I don't want to do this role. I'm sorry, I can't do it. But my friend was like, you're doing this role and you're not saying no. I was like, bro, I can't do it. And I was like, I can't. And he was just like, just go for it.
Yeah.
So I came up with this deep, menacing, Megatron and
ooh la la. Très
it's just so much fun just playing around with that. So I love so much about the voice acting industry. Yeah. For Havoc, for Havoc, what is his fighting style? What does his fighting style say about him as a character? Just seeing him slash around all over the place.
Yeah. Feels like it's I guess there's a lot of chaos realm influence because he's like ripping off his arms, he's like breaking his own neck, and there's a part in the trailer where he like stabs I forget who he stabs, but with his like radius and ulna bones, it's very Wolverine of him. That's what my friend Matt said. He's going full Wolverine.
I think I see him in the chat.
Shout out to Matt Houghton, the best artist I know.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. Yeah, Havik, the character talking about in the trailer, he stabs Astra in the head. He's like, and like goes to the skull and like kill. It's such a cool play there thing. But
so it's like think of like chaotic mixed martial arts with a lot of amputation.
And we're gonna leave it there with the fantastic character of Havoc. Oh, I gotta ask you, because I'm big into design and curating of characters before I move on to the next section. What is your favorite thing about Havoc's design?
Man, the fact that a lot of his face is missing is super unsettling. And talk about like old Havoc. It's a good callback because old Havoc had a very, and my guess is the Havoc from Mortal Kombat Deception is probably in the future, obviously, since it was voiced by an older gentleman. That's my guess. But yeah, I think the fact that he's has no skin around his mouth, and it's just so jarring, and it makes it feel they did an amazing job with that because it makes him so hateable. It's kind of like that inherent animalistic response you have of something that's close to human, kind of like the uncanny valley. It's like it's human like, but it's just not quite there. So it's like something is off, and it's just like freaking me out. I don't know. It's some like it's some ingrained human instinct, but yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, for sure.
It
rules.
It does. I cannot wait to play this game. I cannot wait to play as Havoc. Of course, we're talking about all the great things you've done and the games you've been in, but of course, can't leave without speaking about the important SAG-AFTRA WGA strike right now.
Yeah.
I just want to say how appalled I am to just see the level of greed and uncare for artists I've been seeing recently. Mm-hmm. It's very disheartening. It's very disheartening, especially as me who wants to be in this industry, who's actively working towards getting in this industry to work with so many of you phenomenal talents out there, it's beyond depressing. And then,
For
of
sure.
course, now we're hearing that potentially the video game industry is about to go on strike. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Good thing we're doing this now, because no interviews until we'll see when it happens. But it's I do believe that everything Mortal Kombat related from me will have to turn off during once I mean, and if I worked on television stuff, it would be the same. If I had stuff coming out for that, I would not be announcing for that. But I'm not on camera. But I do have stuff coming out for video games, and since they're going on strike, it's going to have to be a little radio silent in that regard. So,
and
but that's what we got to do.
It obviously we wouldn't have to do this as artists if we were getting treated correctly. As an artist, how does it make you to see the just level of greed and corruption on display here?
It's one of the less attractive sides of the free market. I'm fine with the free market. The free market's fine. In unions exist, in my mind, on a good day. Unions exist to just keep the free market in check, being because a free market will look for the cheapest and most efficient way to do something. That's just just a mechanic. And then on a bad day, it's unions are protecting people from actually malicious, ill-intended, and at a certain point, when some companies are just hemorrhaging money, but also giving executives like massive bonuses, when to me the benefits packages of these what's being asked for by writers and actors would seem to me not really cut into their profit margins by it's just streaming is incredibly successful. Gaming is certainly not going to be growing infinitely until the electricity goes off. So
$1 billion industry, dude. I mean, I was just seeing that the recent Call of Duty sold 1 billion. Is the recent Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 hit a $1 million box office, or whatever you call the game thing.
Oh, yeah.
The gaming office. Like, games are so huge. Like, and it's only like you said, it's only going to get better and bigger with the progression of technology and the advancements in all of this. Like, it's gonna grow exponentially.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that artists have to take in consideration that they're not being treated as fairly. And I was thinking about this situation that made me pretty bummed out to hear. Of course, you're a cast member on the game Genshin Impact, and there's been a bunch of controversy with that game, in particular with 2 voice actors. I don't know if you've heard about this, but one of the lead voice actors for the game stated that they have not been paid for their work on the game. And a second voice actor for the game said that they have not been paid and that they are on the brink of homelessness.
Yikes. Well, my heart goes out to them.
To hear that boggles my mind. Genshin Impact is a massive franchise. It's a massive game. They're talking about like making an anime for it. I don't understand how a voice actor on such a popular game could say that they're going to go homeless potentially. If it's so disappointing.
I have to shut my door real quick.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, don't worry. I have to close my blinds.
Sometimes the wind rolls in and like it blows it open, and But yeah. And that's a reality with acting in general. Is for a lot of us, it's feast or famine. When it's really good, it's really good, and when it's really bad, it's it gets really tough. And and sometimes you're just not going to book as much. You're going to go through a dry spell, and maybe have to learn to adapt to that. Maybe it's just coincidental, but And yeah, I wasn't aware of that fact. That really bums me out to hear. So like going back to the strike and stuff, I understand. I don't claim to be like an expert or that I know everything on all of it, and maybe it's just like the optimist in here, but I'm willing to listen to valid points on each side, because I guess at the end of the day it has to be a compromise. It has to reach. So there are people who are just saying, well, F you to the writers and the actors, and being like, well, just wait it out, da 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 da. But there has to be some people too that are willing to, like we want to get back on track, and we need to keep working. And so, but yeah, it bums me out.
It bums me out too.
Yeah, we all just get along.
Literally, like, and it's interesting to hear, some
We can all make a lot of money and
and
not have to, and still
and not starve. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like I saw this video and someone was like, I think
not even a lot of money, but just like an adequate living.
to live, man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Not saying that I don't live a make a living wage. I'm alive, so
said I'm alive. You know what I'm saying? We're cool.
yeah, we're cool.
But it's interesting to see. I think I was watching this video. Someone's like, I think we've romanticized the idea of the starving artist too much. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of talents are actually like starving, like having to work like DoorDash.
Oh yeah, it's real, man.
It's literally like a real thing, and it's insane.
And I think 99.99999% of us go through that for sure. So just know that, and anyone out there who's might be in a slump or in that starving artist mode, you're certainly not alone.
What are your feelings? I'm so curious on this. And I keep forgetting to ask voice actors this question. I don't know why. But of course, with AI, there's a lot of stuff going on with that. We're talking about advancements of video gaming.
Yeah.
Been seeing a lot of stuff with that. A lot of stuff I'm not happy with or comfortable with. A lot of voice actors have come out and just flat out said, do not use my voice for these AI things. Please don't do that. I would appreciate it if you don't. And to see that some people are still like, oh, we're just going to do it anyways. And then they want to get in a whole little hissy fit, a pissing match, and be like, hey, like, I'm a broke artist. I couldn't afford you. Shut the anyways, excuse me. So with that being said, my question to you is, what are your feelings on what is happening with AI, and are you scared for the future of this industry?
Okay, so ever since you, in your initial email to me, you proposed a similar topic, and I've thought about it extensively since then. On the one hand, technological innovation is going to happen. It's going to happen. That is how our society and culture is set up for, innovation and technology to lead the way. Why do we pursue technology? Because it makes our lives easier. It allows us to do other things that would otherwise be menial. I don't have to, I don't have whatever menial task. I don't have to manually keep a checkbook anymore. I can have an app or whatever that I can just track my expenses and my budget on monthly. That's a great, because then it allows me to free up myself for something I want to pursue more. The crossroads where I see that as a problem is the thing about humans is we need something to do. Humans as a mammal, we need to be kept busy. And, if we automate so much of our lives that we have, like, what happens when we automate culture? What happens when we automate art? When everything else is automated and you're like, finally, I have all this time for artistic pursuits. But then what happens when you automate that? And that is the scary thought to me, because, pertain to voice acting is an expression as a part of culture, and culture is one of the pillars of a civilization, society, along with their maybe their spiritual presence or their economic presence, and among other things. But it's just putting that just foundational societal pillar on autopilot. It's like, then what the hell are we supposed to do? And so that's why another great thing is is the strike tough? Yes. But I'm glad it's happening now, because it's before the snowball keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because AI is going to be a big part of that. It's being like, hey, wait a second, let's stop and let's all level on this and talk about this moving forward. So I don't like the just idea, because not even outside of acting, writing books. What happens when you automate the expressions of someone's heart, of someone's thoughts, their ruminations? Then would that make it difficult for you to express future generations to express that authentically? Because we don't express ourselves, whether that's artistically, maybe it's like the more mechanical thing, maybe you love working on cars, whatever. The reasons we express ourselves through like a pursuits and hobbies like that is because I think that humans need to. It's just like we're a very curious species, and we're a very we're just, I don't know. I got off on a whole thing there, but
No, it's
but yeah, that's the part that scares me. That scares me is just the automation of art and then culture. It's just, then what are we supposed to do? Just stare at a wall and be like, wow, everything is so efficient, I don't need to do anything. I'll just, I'll be a blob of flesh in a Bacta tank, just because I don't need to have a body anymore.
right.
And it's like, why do people work out? And if are they being like, oh man, I can't wait till I can just replace all my limbs with just robot arms, so I don't have to work out anymore. No, there's like an inherent gratification and satisfaction that comes with these pursuits, and I think it's an important part of our species, and there's a part of that that needs to be protected. Just so, I don't know. Yeah.
Nah, I get what you're saying, man. It's a slippery slope that we're going down. That, like you said, I'm glad that the strike is happening now, so we could get a hold on this and just put a hold on the brakes for a little bit, because I want to be a part of this industry. This is the hardest I've ever worked in my life. I'm working a 10-hour job, Monday through Thursday. I'm auditioning almost when I can. I'm about to start up a couple of new side projects. I'm about to start writing episodes. I just got me and my friends, I'm writing 2 episodes of a series. I'm about to direct this series.
Oh, awesome, man. Good job.
Yeah, thank you. You know what I'm saying? There's so many endeavors I'm going down right now, and to potentially think about all of it being for nothing, for a robot to literally just come over and be like, oh, we don't know it's your interview show anymore. We have Rob 5000 here who could do it for you. I don't fucking want that. I want to do it. I want to speak to the artist. This series has taught me.
And there's that inherent, human drive. That need to express, and then that I was talking about. Yeah. And it's ingrained in our DNA, man. It's part of the fabric of our nature.
I couldn't agree more, man. Well, to go into a fun part of the interviews I like to do with all of my guests, called Weird and Wacky. So we have 1 minute to answer a series of weird and random questions.
Yes.
No one has beaten the record of 15. Well, the current record is 15 questions in 1 minute. Do you think you could get that?
Who's got that?
The guy, last person, voice actor David Boat.
Ah, nice.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Am I answering with nonsense or truthful, or just like? Let's just get into it. I'm not even gonna ask questions. Let's go for it.
All right. The timer starts in 3, 2, 1. Favorite Gatorade flavor.
Horse.
Least favorite color.
Brown.
Favorite movie you watched.
Fifth Element.
Last video game you played.
Starfield.
Favorite band.
Meshuggah.
If you had to be a friend with a celebrity, who would you be a friend with?
Robert Downey Jr.
Least favorite song.
Anything by an 80s butt metal band, butt rock band. Power ballad.
Childhood memory. Favorite childhood memory.
Going to the Oregon coast.
Place you want to visit the most.
Scotland.
Favorite architectural discovery.
Architectural discovery. Suspension bridges.
10. You got 10.
Dang.
10.
That celebrity one got me.
I saw you was thinking that.
I should have just said the first one that came to my head.
Yeah. Well, Jacob, man, this
Share.
has been a phenomenal conversation. Thank you so much for speaking with me. I'm so glad to have spent the time with you, getting to know you, joke around with you. My final question to you is, I always like to end it off with just a hopeful little positive thing for people as they're going through their day. What is your current message to the world during these current times that we live in? Obviously, we have the strike. We have a lot of things going on in the world. Just a lot of, funny enough, chaos happening in the world. If you had a mic and you could tell 8 billion people on the planet one message that will get them through the day, what would you tell them?
It's free to be kind. It doesn't cost you anything. And, the more that you try and understand someone, where they're coming from, the more you'll relate to them. And the easier it will be to be kind to them. And
I couldn't agree more. Jacob, thank you so much, man. Yeah. Congratulations.
I'm gonna go pop a bottle of horse-flavored Gatorade, apparently.
Thank you so much, Jacob. Congratulations on all of your success. Don't forget to play Mortal Kombat 1 coming out September 19th. We're so close, Jacob. We're 2 weeks away.
2 weeks.
Almost less than. And,
you may hear from me, you may not. It depends on when the video game strike kicks in. So, but whenever it lifts, you'll be hearing from me a lot. So don't go away, please. Please stay.
So excited. Is there anything you want to plug or promote before we head off?
Oh, I got some projects coming out in October. I like to plug a lot of things I can't talk about. I got projects coming up in October, probably beginning of the year. All of them video game related. So yeah, just keep an eyeball on my socials, and who knows if during the strike I might pick up. I don't know if anyone's interested in watching me be goofy and play Starfield or something, but it seems a lot of people stream. Maybe I've never done that. Maybe I'll try that out or find something that I can share with the world on the internet.
Shoot, why not?
Yeah. It's all Greek to me, so I know nothing. So I need some help.
Can I get a shout out in the voice of Havoc? I have to get that. Yeah, let's go. Have to get into
Joshua, why won't you embrace chaos? Embrace it!
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Jacob Crainer. Thank you all so much. Jacob, do you have to get off as soon as we end, or you got a little bit of time after?
No, I got a little bit at the end. I know it's on the screen, but everyone come say hi. Hit me up on my Instagram and Twitter. Come say hello. If you're an artist and you like to draw Havoc, show me. I'd love to see it. It's so awesome. Everyone is so talented, and it just floors me, and I love to see what you guys do. So,
link to I'm done talking. Go to my description. Bye, everybody. Jesus. Thanks for watching. See y'all next week.